All right, now my favorite portion of the show, May 15th, it's music time. And I was neglecting to remind Cecil County and the world about the North Elk Coffee House coming up this Saturday, where Taylor Abrahamsey, I think I pronounced that, is going to be there. Doors open at 7, I believe. Benefits meeting ground. So go down to Northeast to St. Mary Ann's Church through the coffee house Saturday night. And now, and only now, Rob Sadot, my good buddy for many years.
Hey, Rob.
Going to play some music for us tonight.
Yes.
Talk about the good old days, which still are now, by the way.
I hope so.
And many years ago, there was a house in Oxford. In the attic was Rob's band, Pyramid, a Zeppelin rock band. My band, Porky, was in the basement, a blues band, blues rock band. And one guy hopped between both bands, Stevie LaRocca, the late great Stevie LaRocca.
Yes.
This was his hat. That's why I'm wearing it. And he would play in both bands. And every now and then we'd get all the equipment down to the farmhouse and put it down in the middle and have a big party that lasted all weekend.
It's
And we
fantastic.
survived to the day, Rob.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing. What else happened since then? I forget.
In Pyramid days,
Yeah.
let me see. Steve came over to my house in College Park in Newark, Delaware, and said, I heard you play guitar. And I said, well, I play bass, but so we ended up getting together and jam, and I actually moved over to guitar at his urge, and then we started playing blues tunes and rock and roll tunes, and formed a band. Got a drummer, bass player, Bobby Dean, who's going to be here tonight. Ended up being the bass player for the band, and we played a good 5-6 years around the tri-state area.
Had a good run. And
it was a good run.
you just didn't start playing. You were early influences.
Yes. Well, I grew up in the 60s, so there was plenty of good music to be influenced by, starting with folk music, the Beatles, and I had 2 older brothers that picked up guitar, started playing. Of course, Bob Dylan was a big influence. Some of the other folk heroes, Tom Paxton and Phil Oakes. So I had the benefit of watching them play, and they influenced me greatly.
And we ended up both together in a band
Right.
with your brother Vic.
Exactly.
CP Swampgrass was the first
It
one.
started out, CP Swampgrass was my brother Joe and my brother Vic, and that was more of a bluegrass band, as you can tell by the name. But Joe passed away in 1978. A couple of years later, we got together. I got together with Vic, my other brother, and we formed Crazy Planet Band.
And we recorded
Yes,
an album.
in 1988 at Sound Lab Studios, Roger Hoyleman's Sound Lab Studios, and we're on the cover there too.
Yeah. And vinyl's coming back, folks.
Yes, vinyl's coming back.
In my world, it never left.
But,
It's never been alphabetized, but it never left.
Yep. So, and the late great Hank Carter plays, the saxophone player who was with George Thorogood for many years, plays on 4 songs on that album. That was an honor to play with him, and we played live a few times with him also.
Yes,
And we still play some of the songs off of that album when we play live. So
yeah, that's right. You have Crazy Planet Band. You've continued that.
continued that, yeah. Just kind of resurrected the band because Vic passed away a few years ago. He was a singer-songwriter and activist. So it grew out of the musical memorials for Vic. People loved it, and so we continued to do it, and we still play Vic's music, and we have a celebration in July, every July, to remember Vic and his music.
July 23rd at the Blue Crab Grill
In
in Suburban
Newark.
Plaza,
That's right.
Newark.
Mm-hmm.
So, after Crazy Planet, you kind of took a different direction with Vic.
Yeah, Vic, actually, I got married and then had a family to help raise, so Vic was really beginning to get deeply into the Cajun Zydeco music. We had French roots, the name Sadot, S-A-D-O-T. My father was from France. So in the early 90s, Vic became very interested in Louisiana French Cajun Zydeco music, and actually traveled down there and met many of the musicians. And he came back and started the band with Dave Sumner, and had many great of the area's best musicians in that band. It was called Planet Foal, which is French for Crazy Planet. So, and he played many years in that band. So, and then it was your idea to start the Bayou Brothers. And carry on some of that Cajun Zydeco music, and you get some Mardi Gras gigs too.
Yeah, we'll be doing a Mardi Gras, Midsummer Mardi Gras at the day after your Blue Crab thing.
Yes.
No, June 24th, I think it is.
Right.
Coming up.
Yes, and I still sit in with that band occasionally, and I'll be playing with you guys.
The Witch Doctors.
Well, the Bayou Brothers I was speaking of there. So.
The Witch Doctors comes next.
Oh, okay.
And that's, I mean, I'm trying to keep everything in chronological order.
Okay.
Like many musicians, Rob, you bounce around here, there, and everywhere.
Okay.
But the Witch Doctors is a band that Bobby and Stevie LaRocca from Pyramid back in the day, like the late 70s, mid to late 70s. I ended up playing with them.
Right.
Did quite a few years, and Stevie passed on. And now you're back with the Witch Doctors.
Yes, and I occasionally filled in for Stevie. And filling in, I mean, you can't fill in for Stevie. He was just such a fantastic guitar player. But I filled in if he couldn't make the gig. So.
And we have a gig as the Witch Doctors at Battery Park in Newcastle. When is that?
That is Wednesday, June 21st. Yes, Battery Park in Newcastle.
First day of summer.
Yes.
Like 6, 7
It's
o'clock.
their summer concert series. It's a beautiful location right there on the Delaware River in Newcastle.
So you've been doing some recording.
Trying to, yes. Working with Billy Pierce. He's been in the studio. Great friend. He helps everybody out. He's such a good guy, and he's involved in a lot of musical projects, including recording a lot of local artists. So we're working on one of the songs I'm going to play tonight, The Drinkin' Blues. We have, you laid the drums down for it.
Right.
So we have all the basic tracks done, so we just got to go in there and finish it. And working on some other songs too. It's hard. I'm still working at a full-time job, so time is limited.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And guess what? When you retire, you don't get any more time.
That's what I heard, yes, unfortunately. Yeah.
So, you'll do some of your own music and some of Vic's music tonight with our good buddy Bobby Dean. The
That's
Bobby
right.
Dean.
The Bobby Dean.
Did I miss anything?
Bad boy Bobby Dean. Not sure, but
You'll have to come back
we'll
again.
have to, yes, cover it on the next time. So
Let's get the music happening.
sounds good to me.
All right.
Okay.